What's going on, Dub Chasers? Today we are working on the Mk7. Vince, what are we doing today?
Lowering springs and I don't know.
That oil
Yeah,
thing.
that oil thing.
You'll see as this video goes on. But right now, Vince, what are you trying to get at? The drive axle, you said?
Yeah, like the drive axle hub for this side. Because if not, then we cannot move the whole.
So normally, and correct me if I'm wrong, you're able, typically on most cars, you're able to just remove this bolt right here that holds in the strut, pop down the knuckle, and then you're able to remove it.
More or less.
But with this one, we got to get at the drive axle, take that kind of area out, and then we can hopefully remove it and put on the lowering springs. So in case we weren't clear in the last little part, the reason we have to remove the drive axle is because in the back, it's basically as tensioned as it can get. So we can't really move this whole wheel assembly down to get the strut out. So that's what Vince is currently working on.
And it's a pain in the butt.
It's a pain in the butt, and you can kind of see it back there. It's those bolts that go around the axle. Basically, he's got to undo them all.
Oh, it's on it. Lower it a little bit more.
So got those bolts off back there. Now, theoretically,
I mean, it's supposed to fall off, but this is so tensioned, and it probably has never been touched since the car was made. Are you okay, darling? Do you want to just... Yeah, okay. Well, yep. We'll just let you sit like that.
So we had to do a slight modification to getting that strut out. We
We had to pretty much fully disconnect the front sway bar without actually removing it, but just taking out all of its bolts and where it's being held.
Yeah, so there were, what, 2 bolts on each side?
2 bolts on each side plus the link.
Underneath here-ish, and then the link is dangling right there. And then some just heavy kicking of the top of the rotor. Gotta get the old spring out so we can get the new spring in.
What the?
Alright, so the spring is tightened. Now, what do we gotta remove? The top hat?
Yeah.
And how do you,
So if you don't use an air compressor to do it, like an air tool, you have to hold in, like you need a giant wrench. So I think it's a 21 millimeter wrench, and you have to use whatever Allen key fits in the top, and you have to like counteract them, or else the whole strut will spin with it. Yeah, I guess technically then. So there's the bottom where that will sit in. So it'll be like, I should hit that, yep. So then this comes first. This is actually a whole bearing in it, did you know that?
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's one giant ball bearing.
Jeez.
Right? Was there a top piece?
No, you kept that all together.
It was just like that, yeah.
Yeah.
So this...
Don't forget or you're not putting the bump stock back in. Or are you?
I mean...
Alright, so new spring is in, and now we're gonna attempt to
Oh yeah!
put the strut back in. Try using the jack, maybe?
No, the jack is too high from this.
Oh.
So the way we got it in, it was like that. I wonder if we should screw these in.
Up top?
Yeah.
Might help. Or not.
Just might. It needs to be going this way. This one needs to be like here. God damn it.
All right, so we're like, what would you say, like 90% done with this side?
Like 80%.
80%. Just got to button up a few things, but got the strut tower back in. It took some finagling.
Oh yeah.
If it's like on the last little bit and it won't go in, give the wheel hub a little shake from side to side. That worked for us. Yeah, so what do you have to do? You have to
pretty much just torque everything down.
Torque everything down.
Yep.
And then run to the driver's side, which will be just as fun.
Oh yeah.
So while Vince is working on getting the top hat bolts out, I just want to point out, so this side was, I'd say, easier than the passenger side. The axle's a lot shorter, like a lot shorter, so it didn't hit the sway bar. And yeah, just took a little bit of force kicking the top of the rotor for it to come out. Not too bad. All right, so quick update. We got this strut all installed. Everything for the most part tightened up, not torqued down though. And right now Vince is working on getting the drive axles reinstalled. One difficulty we did have though on this driver's side was the lower control arm is attached by these 3 bolts, and they can slip out when you're raising the wheel hub a lot. So we had to kind of brute force lift the wheel hub back up to get it over the lower control arm. But other than that, it wasn't too bad. So now just onto the drive axles. All right, so we got all of the fronts done, and this one was kind of a pain. You would think with the shorter axle that it would actually be easier to, here, let me get the light. It would be easier to get those bolts back there. But since it's a lot tighter, it was a lot harder to line it up with the transmission. So having 2 people for that part definitely helped. But we got everything torqued to spec on both fronts. So now we're gonna move on to the rears, which hopefully will be easy. It looks like all we're doing is dropping this little lower control arm where the spring sits. And then we just pull the spring out, put in the new spring. Should hopefully be a lot easier than the fronts. Yeah, we're taking them off. We're not putting them back on yet. So like I said, it's just these 3 right here that we gotta get off, and then the whole thing should just drop. And then we can just take that guy out. All right, so this side, all torqued to spec, fully done. Still gotta do the passenger side. These bolts kind of suck, especially this one right here. Trying to fit in a ratchet on the other side is impossible. So you have to use, you can't really use a deep socket. And we didn't have a shallow socket that would work because the bolt kind of sticks through on the other side. So we literally just gripped this wrench as hard as we could. And the torque spec of this is 130 Newton meters. Or it's basically 96 pound-feet or foot-pounds. So it kind of sucks retightening it. But yeah, now we're gonna go do it all over again on the other side. Which is gonna be great.
Yeah, yeet. Oh, I just got it. A little bit more to you. There we go, perfect.
All right, so we're gonna torque down the last one now, but we're gonna show this one because this one can be a pain. Try. There, yep. just torque down everything for that side, which means we are done, but just kidding. We still gotta do the oil pan.
Yeah.
So on the Mk7 GTI, they have a plastic composite oil pan, right? So putting this metal one on. Don't know how long that's gonna take. Could be here for another 5 hours. Right, so the car's back on the ground. Definitely noticeable drop. That much clearance from top of the tire to the fender. Looks pretty good.
I mean, it looks good.
Don't know how it rides
I don't know how
yet.
it drives though.
Yeah.
That's what I'm worried about.
So we'll take it out on a ride. See how she feels, and then give our final review. So back the car out of the driveway.
Well, I mean, I know it's just. To be honest, as of okay, this is first 10 seconds, you know?
Yeah.
Feels exact same. It's a little bit more responsive.
I mean,
Maybe that's just me.
could also be, I mean, your center of gravity is now a little bit lower, so.
No, wait, that is more responsive, definitely. Before, I would have a lot more play in that before it would really start picking itself up. I'm gonna hit my head.
All right, so it's been about
Quick drive.
10 hours.
Oh yeah, well.
Yeah. So this took a little bit longer than we thought, but you know.
For the price, I don't know.
So they were about $130.
They were about $130 for just the springs, versus if you were to maybe go $400 for coilovers, I would say $400 or $500 for coilovers.
But the only thing that would have changed in the process was taking out the springs, which in itself wasn't that hard.
Ah, that's true. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So for the money, I don't drive the car, but I think it's worth it. It's just if you're two dumbos that don't really know what they're doing, it'll take a little bit, and you got to be patient with it.
Oh yeah.
But I think based on that short little drive.
Based on the short drive, nothing seems different. From the inside, you don't really notice anything. It seems as if you're driving the exact same, like same springs and everything. But obviously from the outside, you know, you could tell it's a little low.
Yeah, definitely lower. Ride quality isn't compromised, so.
At least from what we know.
Yeah. Yet. We'll probably give a little update video on how this went, in like a month or so.
Yeah, give it some time driving.
All right. Thanks for watching. Subscribe, comment if you have any questions. It's probably going to be something description about exactly what all went into this, but
we need sponsors.
sponsor us.